Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to have a look at the Icom IC-R70 communications receiver. To my knowledge, this was the first communications receiver built by Icom. They might have built commercial ones, but certainly in the sort of non-commercial field for amateur radios and shortwave listeners, this is the first one that I'm aware of. After this one came the IC-R71, which are a number of improvements and looked much the same, except that here where the speaker grill is, there were buttons so that you could do direct key entry of frequency. And otherwise, although they look the same, as the castings are almost identical apart from that panel, there are a number of key differences. The other one, the IC-R71, is continuously tunable from 0 to 30. This one is also, but it has steps. Okay, I'll show you now on the receiver what I'm talking about. They have what they call band up and band down buttons with actually 1 megahertz increments. So it's 20, 19, 18, 17, 15, and so on. You also have a ham and general coverage, so that if you press that, then that is a true band up and down. That's the 40 meter band, that's 10 megahertz, 14 the 20 meter band, 18, and then the 21 the 15 meter band, and so on until you get to 10 meters. So that is quite a useful feature. That is no longer on the IC-R71 model. This one also has the very useful passband tuning, which is over here. So you have passband tuning that only operates on SSB and RTTY and CW. It doesn't work on AM, as far as I'm aware. Let me just listen here. Oh no, it does on this receiver. Okay, some receivers it doesn't work. This one it actually does work on AM as well. So that's quite nice. And then there's a notch. You press the button here, and then the outer ring is the notch adjustment. So that also works quite well. You can hear the notch coming in there. Okay, let's take that off. Okay, this doesn't have independent filter selection, which the IC-R71 does. So this one automatically selects the filter according to whether you're in AM, FM, or SSB, or RTTY, CW. It does have a CW narrow. I'll just press the CW now. That's the standard CW. And that's the narrow. You can hear the drop in the tone, which indicates that tells you, and the light comes on there. So that's standard CW, and that's CW narrow. Okay. Addition, it has noise blanker on and narrow and wide noise blanker. You have AGC fast and slow up here, so you can set it to off, fast and slow. Monitor button, that's only if you're using it with a transceiver. You have your light dimmer, so you can dim the display. At the moment it is on dim. Over here you have your step sizes. There's 1 kilohertz, 100 hertz, and then 10 hertz, and then lock. So that is what you do. But if it's only one, like the Wadley loop receivers, it's only 1 megahertz. So if I go backwards here, you'll see it'll suddenly, I'm going the wrong way now, there it's 900, it reverts to 900, and then forwards this way it reverts. It's always on 15, so it'll jump between the bottom end and the top end, 999, and that's all. And to go up, you have to press the band up button to increment it by 1 megahertz. Very similar to the Kenwood R600 and the R1000 that have a knob, and also the NRD 515, which also has a knob which you turn for the different frequencies, although that will go over the frequency by quite a considerable amount. This one will not. similar to, as I said, and also the original border Wadley receiver worked on the same way. Although this is not a Wadley loop, it just happens to be the way that it works. What else can I tell you? The tuning knob is nice and free running. It's got a nice action to it, so that's also very smooth. The set overall is very sensitive, apart from the odd anomalies, operating anomalies. I can't really tell much difference. This ICR71 is slightly more sensitive. On a very, very weak signal, I do find that it pulls in slightly better. But otherwise, also on medium wave band, which is down here, we won't have anything much on that at this time of the day. It's 900. Okay, we can't hover on there, there's music.
Marchers will hand over a memorandum to a government official. Among the demands is the closure of the Israeli embassy in Pretoria. Meanwhile, further afield, the US says it will revoke the visa.
As you can hear, it has nice tone. There's also tone control here, this button where you can set the tone, increasing the treble. It's not a treble and bass, but it does increase the treble. You have RF gain control on this one over here, and then your normal AF gain control over there. So basically, it's got everything that you need of a shortwave, of a communications receiver. Let's not talk about shortwave. There is also a hatch up top here, which you can open, and there are various settings that you can set, mainly to do with, I don't think this one has scanning. I'm not quite sure what the settings are there. I can't remember, unfortunately. So you can set something in there. I can't remember what it is exactly. There's also a switch at the back, which is rather unusual. So if you set the switch, if you switch the radio off and you switch it back on again, it remembers the frequency that you are on. If you don't want that, you can set that off at the back, and then it will revert to whatever it comes up with, a standard 500, or whether it's in all zeros, I'm not sure. I haven't tried it. It takes a normal 50 ohm antenna at the back, and also, like the other Icom radios, has provision for a high impedance antenna, such as a doublet antenna or twin feed antenna with 500 ohms or 600 ohms or whatever you're using. I think the match is actually 500 at the back. And I think this one also, if I'm not mistaken, can work on 12 volts. I'm not sure. This particular radio doesn't have the fitting, but I know that the 71, and I think this one, you could get not a conversion, you could get a set. You could buy I wouldn't say an adapter, you buy a cable that enables you to run it off 12 volts. That's subject to correction. I'm not certain about this one. I know that 72 has it, definitely, that already has a plug, and you can use it directly off 12 volts or off 220, not both, or 240 volts, whatever your voltage is, 110 if you're in the USA. So generally, this one was in particularly good condition, particularly nice condition. The faceplate is very good. The top panel, it's got a little bit of corrosion on the top here, which you can't see too well. There's a couple of bumps there, you can see them there, but that's nothing really to worry about. The rest of the casting is fine. It's best to just leave that alone. You could rub it down and then repaint just its outer edge of the thing if you're really fussy about it. But generally, for its age, I think it performs extremely well, and I'm also very happy with this. In addition to this, I also have an Icom IC-718, which, as far as I'm aware, the receiver in that is virtually identical to that in the 75, except that the 75 has the twin passband tuning control, whereas this one only has an IF shift. And the IF shift on that one only works on SSB. It doesn't work on AM. It also has a narrow filter for AM, which is also nice. So I have been able to compare that radio to this one and to the ICR72. In my personal opinion, I think the ICR71 is still slightly better than that, because it's got passband tuning, although if you got the 75, of course, you have got the twin passband tuning, which is even better. I've never actually used the ICR75, but definitely I would say the receiver is pretty good on the ICR718. If it is identical to the circuitry in the ICR75, then it would be definitely an extremely good receiver. Okay, that's all. It's just a short demonstration of the radio. I think there's lots of YouTube videos out there about it. I'm just particularly pleased to have the full run, almost the full run of these radios now. So that's quite a nice thing to have, and I'm quite happy that I have been able to obtain all of these radios. Enough waffle for me. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.